Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel Mainframe Girls. In the last video, I have introduced you a new utility called IDCAMS, and this is very important utility when it is about VSAM datasets. Okay, today I'll tell you what is a ListCat in IDCAMS. ListCat is a display command which you use to display all the allocation, attributes, volume, data, expiration, and every detailed information about a dataset. It could be a VSAM, non-VSAM, a catalog, or everything. You can display all the information about a particular dataset. So this is the most important command which you use for a VSAM datasets, because for a non-VSAM datasets, you can simply display this information by giving a information command I or S in front of the dataset, a line command, and you can see what is its allocation space and everything. But coming to VSAM, there are many other attributes which you have to view and which is not possible with this information and S command. So that is the reason you will be using this listcat command to display every attribute of a VSAM dataset. I'll be explaining you what are all the parameters we can see in a listcat command. So listcat means list catalog entries. Catalog is a very wide topic which I'll be explaining you if you require, or in upcoming videos I'll be explaining you. So listing all the catalog entries. If you give this listcat command in front of a dataset or in front of for a VSAM dataset, it will view you all the dataset information like creation date, space allocation, expiration date, associated datasets, and many more. There, when you give this listcat command output for a particular data set, or it will give you an output of completely 4 to 5 pages of information for a VSAM dataset. Mostly it is useful for VSAM dataset because VSAM dataset has many attributes, like you have to get the data information, index information, cluster information. If there are some datasets, if there are some associated datasets are there, suppose think it is a catalog, and if that catalog has many other aliases under it, and if you want to see what are all those aliases, and if you have doubt on any of the words which I'm using now, please comment me below. I'll explain you each of the letter in depth in upcoming videos if it is required. And there are two types of parameters called required parameters and optional parameters. And listcat does not have any required parameters. What is required parameters in brief is when you are using a particular command. Suppose now I'm telling you about listcat. So for a listcat, there is no required parameter is required. Okay, means means sometimes there, suppose thing, as in one video I've explained you defrag. Defrag is also doesn't have any required parameters. So like that, some required parameters means must, at must you should keep that word there, then only the command will run. So like that, there is no word for this listcat, but there are all optional parameters. It's like if you require that particular data, give that word. If you don't require that particular data, don't give that word. It's like that. But it's not like this word should be a particularly an important word which you have to give with listcat command, then only the output will come. Like that, there is no word like that. That is what a required parameter is. So I'll be explaining what are all parameters we have and some of the examples in for the listcat. So listcat, as I told you, listcat is nothing but what is the word list is briefing you. List is just listing the information. Means it is a display command. Just remember, it's a display command, nothing more than display command. So you can do the listcat on a data set anytime. It's not a restriction that like as I told you in defrag, you have to run only when the system is down. But it's not like that with listcat. You can run this listcat command anytime, anywhere. You can check for alias, library entries. Suppose if it is a tape data set, and you can check the library entries. You can check the creation. When you give the name, you can get the exact name of the catalog, means which catalog it is associated. And you can give allocation and check what are all the allocation entries, which is the most important one you will be using is only entries. Means if you give a particular data set and you say entries, it will give all the data sets under it. and it's you can use a non-VSAM parameter and say that I need all non-VSAM data sets. You can check the alternate index, cluster, data, GDG, and the user catalog, volume entries. Suppose you need information about a complete library, you can use a library. And if you need a volume information, you can give a volume here. And this is out file parameter, where if you want the data to be printed to a particular data set of your data set, means the output of this display, if you want not to be displayed on the console or the job log and you want it in your data set, then you can use this out file data set. Okay. So when it comes to some particular parameters like alias, alternate index, cluster, data, GDG, which is generation data group, index, library entries, non-VSAM, page space, path, user catalog, volume entries. Okay, these parameters, only those entries whose type is specified are listed. Okay, it means that suppose how the listcat command works is you'll give listcat and the dataset name which you want. Okay, so if you give this names particularly, means if you give this name separately, only then you will get this data be listed. Okay, then otherwise it won't be listed. You have to give this GDG index, means that information you have to specify. Then only if you need that particular volume entries, then only you will give, then if you give this volume entries word there, then only that volume entries will be listed. Means not by just giving an all command or not by default, this outputs will not be listed. Okay, these things are listed only when these parameters are added. Okay, so when next comes catalog is a parameter with a cat name. Here you have to specify the catalog name. Okay, there are two catalogs. I'll tell you the basic information about catalogs. There are two catalogs, that is master catalog and user catalog. And user catalog, and like there are many users, right? There are many users, like almost a client will be having 3,000, 4,000, in lakhs the users will be there. So that user should be mapped to a particular catalog. Then the rules will be defined to that catalog. So if you want who all are there under catalog, what are the rules for that catalog, what is space allocation for this catalog, then you have to code this word catalog, and if you can see the information about that particular catalog. Only entries from that catalog are listed. And when you specify this word catalog and you give a specified name, and suppose each client or each account will be having some 30 to 40 user catalogs, and that user catalogs will be having particular name, right? If you're specifying only one catalog name here, then all the information about that catalog, when that catalog was created, expiry date, who all are under that catalog, means what are all names are there under that catalog, that information will be shown here. That will be listed. If normally you can display everything, all the information at once, but when you want a specific information, not all the information at that time, you use this parameters, so that it will not make your make your work tougher. Okay, it will make your work easier. When you need only one information, you can directly give this parameter and check. If you're not familiar with this parameters, it's not that requirement that you have to remember each and every parameter. There is a common command for an each. There is a common command, a listc command, where which you can give that command and you can display all the information about that particular data set. But you have to search the required information which you require, okay, which you need it at that time. Instead of that, you can, if you use as parameters, then you can directly get the required information which you need. So that is why this parameters topic is there. Okay, but it's not that mandatory that you have to remember all the parameters and give that parameter words. It's not that mandatory. Okay, coming to creation, if you want to know the particular data set's creation, you give list c the data set name, and you say that creation days. What is this creation? Listed only if they were created on the specific number of days ago or earlier. So you have to specify a number here, okay, which could be from 0 to 999. Okay, so that number of days ago, suppose you have specified 0, it means today. Okay, today, from today, how many days ago, if that data set is created or related to that data set, if some information is there, that will be listed. Okay, so the maximum which you can give is 999. So that many days of information means that early, means if it is created, if that particular data set or if that particular high level qualifier, suppose you have given a high level qualifier, and if that high level qualifier data is defined before those many days, then it will be listed. Okay, expiration. Like if you know the tape datasets will be expiring, right? The tape datasets will have a time. So remember, when you're taking a dump, means when you're taking a backup into a tape, you can check its expiry with this list C expiration keyword. You can give expiration days. So it will specify all the data sets which will be expired with this day's number. Okay, whatever number, same, it will be from 0 to 999. So 0 means all the see, if you give 999 there, it will list all the entries to be listed. Okay, every entry will be listed. But when you give 0, it will give all the entries which are already expired. Okay, so that is how it works. The most important parameter is entries and level. These two parameters are very important in the listcat. Means this is the only command which you will be using most of the time. Entries, which can also be listed as ENT. You can say it as ENT. Okay, so these two parameters only you are listed. So mostly you will give a listcat and you will say entries, and in that you will specify the dataset name which you want. You can specify as many datasets you want, and if it's a single dataset, you can specify a single dataset. And you say that I need all the information about it. That is the only listcat command you will be using every time. If it's a VSAM, non-VSAM, or anything you will be using a single dataset command, that is entries. Okay, it specifies the name or a generic name of the each entry to be listed. So if you're giving something inside, it will display everything. And level is something like it is same as entries, but there is a small differences. High level qualification. Suppose I'll show the example here. Suppose think that these four are the data sets. Okay. Okay. When suppose if I have given the command like list C, I'll say list C entries A star. I'll say A dot star. Then it will display only the next qualifier, which means it will display only this two. Okay. But when it comes to level, it will display, or it will take this as a high level qualifier, and it will display all the next level of qualifiers here. So it will display all four here. So you may say that level is important, but there are some tags to these entries and level which you can use, like all, name, and everything. When you display this all command with entries, it will give the whole information like level command. Okay. Then next, it's library. If you know what is a library, it's a tape library. So like tapes will be there in a particular library, right? There will be a lot of tapes in each of the account. So that tapes are there in each of the library. Okay. That libraries, if you want to know how many volumes are there, when it got created, what is the attributes of that particular library. So if you just know the library name, then you can just simply give the listcat command, and you can view the every attribute of that particular library, like expiry date, retention period, how many days the data set will be there in that tape, everything. That library name you have to mention, and the tape volumes that are entries in that specified tape library are listed. So all the tape volumes will be listed, everything and every information about that library will be showing to you. Okay. So normally when you run this listcat command, there are two ways of running this listcat command. So the first way is through IDCAMS, and the second way, it will invoke IDCAMS. You can give it as a line command in front of a data set. Suppose this is a data set, and you can give the command in front of it, and that will be you. So when you're giving in front of a data set, the output will be displayed on the console. Okay, it will just go off if you give two times enter, and it will go off. And when you're running as an IDCAMS command, output will be displayed in the job log. Okay, but what is this out file? So if you want your data set, if you want the output of this particular file to be stored somewhere, then you will give that data set in this DD. Okay, and you mention that DD file here. Then if you specify this particular parameter, normally you can do this by using a sysprint. If you are quite familiar with sysprint, see, other than the sysprint data set, if you want your output to be produced somewhere else, see, sometimes you have to give, suppose you have to give this output to someone else or to application team, or you have to submit to a client, or if you want to show this report to someone. So what you will do, you want to take that output outside, right? So at that time, you can put this data in your data set, or if you want to do some change and you want to compare the thing from previous attributes and after attributes, at that time also you want to save this data in a particular data set, in your data set, then at that time you will use this parameter so that you can save this data in your particular data set. Okay, so what is this? Name, history, volume, allocation, all. Okay, these 5 parameters are used with level and entries. Okay, entries which I told you before, this entries parameter and level parameter take this thing. Okay, when what you will say, the command will be list C lc entries ent, and you will give bracket open, and in this parenthesis you will give the data set which you want the data of, and you will give name here. So when you give name, it will list only the catalog to which it is allocated. Okay, only 2 lines of output you will get, means its name and the catalog to which it is associated. That's it. Okay, but what happens when you give history? It will give you the name, the entry type, owner ID, creation date, expiration date, and release. Okay, this information, this is also a small command, small output of this. What it will give, you can give history or HIS. These 3 letters would be enough. You will give list C, ENT, the dataset name, and you will say history. Then this information will be means if you need only this much information, this will be displayed. Creation date, expiration date, this will be displayed. And if you want which volume it is in, what is the allocation type, what is the device type, what is the device type of which is allocated, at that time you will give list C, ENT, dataset name, and volume. Okay. Then comes allocation. So where it is allocated, so what is a data class, what is a management class, what type of information does it have? If you want that type of information, then you'll say detailed information of allocation, then you'll say LC, ENT, dataset name, and you'll give ALLOC, alloc or allocation. Okay. But if you want all this information to be displayed at once, it means not like specified information. If you want everything to be displayed once, you will give all. So this is the basic command which you use. List C, ENT, dataset name, space, all. So you'll get every information about the dataset. It will give name, history, volume, allocation, attribute, when it got created, where it got created, what is the year it got created, what is the expiration tape, suppose it's a tape file, if it's a tape library, what is all the information when the tape, what's the retention period. This all is like the heart of the list C command where you use it everywhere. ENT all, ENT all, ENT is nothing but entry. Entries all, just you want the data set entries and all information. So as I told you, this is list C can be given in front of the data set also. After you going to 3.4, when you're seeing a data set in front, suppose these are the data sets. Okay, so in front of data set, here in the line command, how you give I, S, V, browse, V, the commands where you give that, in that place, you can give this list C commands and you can view that command. Okay, you may be thinking this command is this much big, but this place is very small with the 8 letters of space. How can I give this big command in that place? There is no worry. You can write on this also. You can overwrite on this. It will nothing. It will change nothing. It will make no changes to your data set. It will do nothing harm. List C is just a basic display command. Okay. There's no need to worry when you're writing this command. Suppose think that you have given command wrong. It will say re-enter the operand. You have given the wrong command. Re-enter the operand. That's it, because you have already specified list C, no need to tension. So it will say re-enter the operand. At that time, you have to just give escape button, you have to press the attention key. It could be escape button or any of the operand like plus or any of the symbol. Okay, plus or escape, space will work sometimes. So you have to come to the back screen. So just you have to give paste this command or write this command in front of that are data sets. Okay, in front of the data set. It can overwrite also list c ent all and press enter. That's it. You'll your all the information will be specified on the screen on console. It's not like you there is no need to run a job, IDCAMS job, create a job, run a job, go to go to your SDSF panel or IF panel and check whether where it is running. There is no need of that much of big hassle here. You can directly, this is history command, you can directly take the history. If you want to know to the which catalog it is allocated, you can directly give name command. If you want to check the allocation only, you can give allocation. If you want volume information, you can check directly with a, and if you want to check all the information, you can just give list the ent all in front of the data set and it will show all the information about that particular data set. Here are some of the examples which have been I thought of showing you guys. This is the basic job which will be running. Basic means just a basic job which is needed. If you say if you want to run a list C, you need this job. Okay, just remember this is a job which you have to run. See what is a PGM? PGM is IDCAMS. Sprint A which will go into the syslog. Then here it comes, it says give, don't forget to give two spaces in front of it, and the command would be listcat ent, which means entry the data set to the data set which you want information. Suppose it's a VSAM, non-VSAM, any of the data set, catalog, any data set, you'll give that here. And you can give it another command, not this command, catalog command is there. If you remember, listcat catalog of that particular catalog, and it will give all the information. In ent, that data set name, and you will give all, and it will give you the all the information about that particular. So this is the basic job which you have to run. And here next it comes, see, listcat. So think that you have to add more data for IDCAMS, you have to use this hyphen. Okay, it will come down. When you're coming to the next line, use this hyphen. Last, there is no need of hyphen. Okay, then if you want the information about only qualifiers, you don't know the exact what is the name here, or if you want more data about it, then you can use asterisk also, and you can display the whole information about everything. So you can see all the entries, if some aliases are there, associated data sets information, everything can. But remember, this is the basic job. This is the basic job which if you are running a listcat, if you need a job, this is the job. Just run this, keep this basic job and run it. You will get every information about that particular data set. I told you that you can get the tape information also, tape library information, but that you use with the command I said, library entries. So suppose think that this is the name of the library, tape library, and if you are giving that library name here, it will show you all the information about when the tape library created, how many volumes are there in it, what type of volumes are there, how much space is there, retention period, type, expiration of that, everything of this library, how many medias are there, everything about this like tape library will be showing to you. And in the same way, if you don't want about all the information about this tape library, then you can use this also. Then it is simple. You can say, suppose if you want this VA star information about that volume entries in this particular library, you want only information about VA star. Okay, VA star volumes. How many volumes are there? What type of volumes are there? Or how many entries are there in this particular library? Then you can list all this here. You just say VA star here and you can see how many VA star volumes are there. What is the expiration date? And complete information about that. So because you're using an all parameter here. Just remember all parameter works everywhere in the list cat if you want every information about it, about that particular information. And I'll be making more videos on IDCAMS utility. And if you guys have any doubts or anywhere, please tell me in the comment section. I'll be explaining you in hands-on. If you need a hands-on experience also, please let me know. I'll explain you properly on screen and everywhere. Then I'll tell you how it works and what is there. So please kindly like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.